Morgan, how are you? Thank you for hopping on the Quarantales segment that I've come up with.
Hi, Ashmere. It's so good to see you. It feels like it's been some months since we've talked. It has been some months.
Yeah, I mean we've been so busy, right? There's just a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I think the first time we spoke was the first time we've ever even met. So
Yeah. Now look at us.
I know, yeah, I'm really glad that you joined Nuts and Bolts. She's been writing some content and I know you have a lot more coming and you launched your website. Congrats. So
Thank you.
good things coming for the team and more women. I'm always looking for more women that want to join Nuts and Bolts. So thank you for that. I just wanted to learn about how you've been in quarantine. I mean, the country's been shut down almost like 100 days. The California is closed still. Right? They just reclosed everything. So how is it where you are? And like, tell us where you live and a little bit about that.
Well, I currently live in Norman, Oklahoma. I'm the good OU Boomer Center. But right now I am back in Southeast Texas with my family. I needed some support, just like being by myself that far away in quarantine. It really starts to weigh on you. And so I just came home where I can get some good food, some laughs with my family and friends, and so I'm back here in Texas.
Okay, so how was it at school before you came back?
Oh my gosh, it was so dead. Like Norman is kind of slow, like during the summer in general, but there's so many people that aren't really following the rules, and so you could go to the store, people aren't wearing masks. People are at the pools, at people's apartments and stuff, and so it's just like it was a lot. My apartment sent a email letting people know that like if your friends are trying to come to the pool, we really can't allow that right now. Like it needs to be just our residents. And really you guys should be careful when y'all are at the pool. So it's been a little weird.
Yeah, I'm sure. So when everything happened back in March, how did you feel? What were your emotions? I mean, I know this was super strange for everybody to be told that you had to stay home, only go to the grocery store, cook 19 meals a day, So how were you feeling? And you were alone at school. So how was that?
Well, it's crazy. I actually had come home for spring break. I was supposed to go to a conference in Greensboro, North Carolina, and that got canceled. So I was like, okay, I'm going to stay home. And then like quarantine happened and I ended up being home for 3 months, which is the longest I'm home. So I started looking at my parents crazy. They're looking at me crazy. It's just too many people in the house and like they're not used to my schedule. I'm not used to theirs. And so I was going to go back to Norman and have my website launch party. She Got Game was supposed to be launched in April, and that got canceled. And so I was like, I'm stuck here in Beaumont. I can't do anything. I have stuff at home that I just left because I thought I'd be back in a week, and then I had a whole bunch of business attire clothes for the conference. So I'm out at HEB in like a blazer, looking like super crazy. But it's a long time being down here.
Yeah, I'm sure. And when you were trying to adapt with your family, how was that? I mean, I'm still at home too, so it took a while for us to all be in a unit as we are now because we had 3 people working from home. We had 3 people sitting at the dining table, 3 different calls going on. Like it was a lot. So I completely get how it is to adjust and just to go back home in general, right? Like you were used to being at school on your own, right? On your own routine. And then that wasn't the case anymore.
My parents are like, they don't like to spend a lot of money. So they're like, why are you ordering out all the time? We have Folgers coffee. Why do we need to go to Starbucks? I'm like, look, this is what I do back at school. Let me do me. So yeah. And then I'm an only child. So it's like, what are you doing? I'm bored. I need my space. So yeah.
So how have you been adjusting now? I don't know. I can only keep track of California, to be honest, because I feel like we were decreasing, now we're increasing. So how is it where you are? And are the laws changing or, what's happening over there?
I think Texas is about to go back on lockdown. I know they said on the news, like Florida for sure, Texas, California. So I'm a little nervous that I'll end up being stuck down here again. And if I do go back to Oklahoma, I'll have to quarantine for 14 days or so. And so, yeah, I think my mom and I are going to go to Sam's like in a few hours and just go stock up just to be on the safe side and go back, quarantine. But I drove past the grocery stores and people are panicking again. You have cars like from here to there in lines, people trying to get groceries just in case the same thing happens. So.
Yeah, I get that. How long is the drive from where you are to your school?
On a good day, about 7.5.
Okay.
A bad day, about 8.5. If I don't call my mom, I can make it in 7. That's with the Texas speed limit. Like, we really don't pay attention, to the speed limit in Texas. So I was kind of like hauling it on the way home the other day, but I was, grateful to get here safely and everything.
Sure. I mean, you don't have to lie. I live in California. We all speed to our own time.
Where are you going?
I mean, if you need to get there safely and fast, I'm not going to tell anybody.
Yeah, and there's rarely cops in Oklahoma, so getting out of Oklahoma isn't the problem. But it's like once you get to Texas, everyone knows that like medicinal marijuana is like legal in Oklahoma. So as soon as you cross that border, like there's a cop waiting just in case someone looks super sketch and stuff. So I picked up on that. But yeah.
So how was your mental health in the beginning of all this? And still, I mean, I think it takes a lot for all of us to just readjust our entire lives. And I definitely think I didn't know you when this had originally started, but as the Nuts and Bolts team was speaking, like Joe and I were connecting all the time, just making sure we checked in with each other. So how did you start and how have you, gotten better, or what have you done to help yourself through all this?
Well, I'm an ambivert, so I was thriving at first, and then after like month 2, I was ready to kind of get out just in general, see some new faces. I think with what's been going on, set aside the pandemic, with the police brutality and the George Floyd, incident stuff, I think that started to weigh on my mental as a Black woman, and so it's been hard to stay off social media because you need to stay informed, but I do find myself taking breaks and either going on walks or reading a book and trying to educate myself more. But it's gotten a little rough. I tweeted last night that I was mentally drained because like if we're not worried about the pandemic, we're worried about an unarmed Black person being killed by the cops, and so it's just like like I need a moment, like please, some kind of peace somewhere.
Sure. And I feel like we try to avoid social media, but it's almost impossible because I want to stay as current as I can, right? I don't want to feel like I'm missing any stories or even missing anything with the pandemic. And of course, with the police brutality, the protests going on, like I just want to stay in the know of everything. But then after a while, it really hurts like your heart and your head. And I could feel you're getting that way more than I am. So
yeah. And then you feel even with that, the students who were not able to have an actual graduation, class of 2020, you kind of felt for them and you saw a lot of sad posts. And then the seniors who didn't get to finish, playing spring sports, that it was just so much. And so I was just like, I need a moment, but it did weigh on me a little bit. So I try and take breaks occasionally,
Yeah, I definitely get that. I mean, I was upset. I was going to work March Madness in LA and then that was canceled. So 2020 has been some year for sure, but on a little positive spin-off, how are you feeling? And do you think the NBA is actually going to return?
I don't know. At first I was excited, but like it's looking really crazy in Florida. Like there's even more cases. And I think the last time I read, there were 16 NBA players that had tested positive out of the 302 that were supposed to go. So I mean, I'm really hoping that they get to play, but also like, the rings that everyone's been seeing that they're supposed to put on their fingers. Where are those? Can they put them on so we can make sure everyone's okay? I don't think it's a good idea for the players who have tested positive to still go, even if they're going to quarantine in the hotel room. I think it's that serious to be with your team, but also like your health. And what if you need like medical care like ASAP? Like there's so many cases in Florida. Will the NBA be the NBA, or will they still be just regular like civilians there? So it's a dang if you do, dang if you don't type of thing right now, especially in Florida.
Yeah, I agree. I think before the cases rose there, I was feeling a little excited, like you said, because it didn't seem like it was a dangerous move. It felt like we were all going down in the case count, and then all of a sudden Florida had spiked up, and then I was like, wow, MLB's coming back, NBA's coming back. They're all going to the same state. The case number is like in the thousands every day. So yeah, I definitely agree. I've been changed up on my true like feelings of everything, just because I want basketball to come back, but I want everyone to be safe. I kind of canceled 2020 in the sports, right? So how are you feeling about football? Do you think football will return?
I am hoping for the sake of Cam Newton. I'm really excited about that. Congratulations to him. I want football to happen, especially NCAA football. I'm a big, college football fan. But the way things are looking with players on teams, I'm more concerned for them being safe. I also read something that they were saying maybe switch fall football to spring football, but wouldn't that kind of, clash with like the combine and the draft and stuff like that? So I don't know. Then of course, if you saw Tom Brady in Tampa, Florida, they're practicing like nothing's going on. So it's gonna suck if we don't. But luckily, there's like enough football games like on YouTube to watch if need.
Well, do you think they would follow through with the no fans law, or would they try to figure out a way to have people in the stands? Because I feel like that is something that I've heard throughout for the NFL. They're not gonna abide by that law, right? But if everybody else is doing it, I feel like they have to follow in the rest of these teams' footsteps. So
I don't think that they should have fans in the stands.
Sure.
Yeah, fans are what really bring like the game experience, but that's a huge risk, and that's gonna continue to have cases grow. And I think if the athletes, are headstrong and they can play without fans, then do that. But yeah, I think I did read something where they're like they're gonna put it like a space or a couple like chairs in between each like fan. No.
Yeah, I think I need to sit over here and know that somebody else is
like super
400 and I'm in 100. So what have you been doing to keep yourself busy with in regards to sports? Have you been like watching your old teams, or what are you working on for yourself for She the Game website and things like that? How are you keeping yourself current?
I've been writing for She Got Game. I've been reading more, watching a lot of documentaries. If there's like any kind of webinar or Zoom, that can teach me a new skill, I'm trying to get involved. I just finished, we were talking last week, you and I just finished it's called Team, and it was a Zoom like course. It's like 5 days, really intense. The sports code software teaches you about the video analytics that they use in the NBA. And so, of course, football is my thing, but I like to, kind of spread my wings. And so I did that course. And then just watching a lot of like OU games from this past season and the season before last. And so just trying to get a feel and learn, things that I don't know. Watching what athletes are doing in the meantime as far as like training on social media and stuff, and then also seeing what athletes are doing as far as using their voice and their platforms during this time. So
cool. Well, I just put your link up so that people can check it out. Yeah. How many posts do you have right now?
Oh, hold on, I dropped my watch. Ooh, I think like I'm at like 8 or 9.
Mhm.
I think I'm gonna try and get like maybe 2 out this week, before the 4th of July because clearly there's a lot to talk about. But yeah, I've been trying to write, and my writing process is so slow. I have like 3 books I use before I even actually type the story, so I'm trying to work on speeding that up. But yeah, I've also done a couple collabs with other aspiring sports journalists, and I've been on some podcasts and stuff, and so it's been fun and meeting other girls, who are into sports like you. So I think we talk like just about every week, so it's been fun.
I know it's actually like I think I've taken this and made it a 180 because I've connected with so many women in the industry that I didn't know existed, like you. And then I feel like Twitter is my homeland. Like I cannot live without Twitter, and I feel like that's where I've met all kinds of people. So is Twitter not your homeland?
I like Twitter. I before this quarantine, I had taken like a social media hiatus, and so now it's like I get on every day, and I try and get on Instagram, and I don't really have like all the words to say. So a lot of times, I'm just like cheering someone else on, like you go girl, or retweeting, their work. But I'm not really a big like tweeter. Like,
Oh, that's okay. You'll grow into it. I've had it since like 2009 or something when it was like when you were tweeting every day, like, God, my mom will let me eat whatever I want today. Like whatever you wanted to say, my
right.
virtual diary.
Yeah, like I just feel weird. I'm just like, should I say this? Are people gonna think I'm crazy? But then it's like, who cares? So I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna try tweeting more. So
It's okay. I think writing for your page is enough. Like we
Mhm.
have a lot on our plates. So just my wrap up question is kind of what are you looking forward to for the rest of the year? What are some projects you've got maybe for yourself or for Nuts and Bolts? And then, just, how we can see what's coming with Morgan.
I am trying to make sure I graduate. I'll graduate in December. Staying healthy, trying to meet, some of the members of Nuts and Bolts Sports. If California ever cleared up, I would love to come and meet you. Um, just networking a lot and trying to support as many women in sports as possible. There's so many group meets that I'm in, right now, and it's amazing that women can get together, and talk, and support each other and encourage each other, and be on the lookout for jobs and mentorships and stuff like that. So I'm trying to stay connected, and then I think I'm thinking about moving She Got Game to podcast.
Cool.
Trying to add, a few of those if I can, get the hang of it. Get the hang of it. I know you told me about doing podcasts, and so I've been thinking about that. Maybe doing a few voiceovers of the post, and so going from there, but mainly graduating because your girl has to get a job. So yeah, I'm excited.
Well, good luck. I mean, I think you'll be great. So I'm not worried about it. But yeah, I mean, where can people find you and read aside from your website? Like, what's your socials? And everybody can check out all the work that you're putting in.
Well, if you go on Google, you could just type in Morgan S. Jenkins, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, my Instagram will pop up and LinkedIn and Twitter. But my Instagram is Morgan, MorganJay_, and then my Twitter is Morgan, MorganS Jenkins, Jenkins. And I follow back, guys. Tweet me, talk to me, help me learn that I can actually just tweet random stuff. I like to laugh. I love to repost and listen to anyone else's work, or if you have like something you want to like talk about that's on Nuts and Bolts Sports or She Got Game, I would love to, discuss that. So yeah, give me a call.
All right, yeah. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to me. And I hope, take care of yourself. Obviously, stay safe, stay sane with your family because I feel it. And good luck.
Thank you, Ashmir. I'm so glad that we got to talk, and I'm pretty sure we'll text each other. Like,
we'll probably have another broadcast soon. So yeah,
that'll be fun. But thank you.
All right.
Y'all stay safe.